Sorry,
Turn on your dome light.
I'm driving to a call right now, but my call is about 20 minutes away, so I'm good.
Well, that's good because we're live right now, Jude.
Oh, what's up, everybody?
Guys,
Supplies. Oh, yeah. I just love pulling the wool out on everybody. Hey, so anyways, this is Wide Right CFB. And if you missed us last week, it's because we missed ourselves. We were unable to host the show because, because the guy that does all the important stuff, like turn the StreamYard channel on, he just wasn't available last week. So if you're going to blame somebody, blame Lindsay. Easy target.
yeah.
He's there. He's smiling. But with that said, what we always do at the beginning of every show at Wide Right CFP is we do our salute to these service academies, and this show isn't any different than any other show. We're going to hop right in, Lindsay. You ready to hop right in?
Let's go.
All right. Let's start with my school. We got to recap a couple weeks. We had an off week last week. This week, we take on the Smart Kids from MIT, which Lindsay's school may have just played. And the week before, October 4th, Saturday at noon, the Merchant Marine Academy beat SUNY Maritime from Throgs Neck, New York, 28-26 in a nail biter. The week before, on Saturday, September 27th, this game happened at noon Eastern Time, they beat Worcester, Mass, 49-21. I just love to watch Lizzie's face when I say Worcester. Worcester. Does that bother you when I do that?
No.
All right, but this week they play, and it's a Gold Star Families game. I don't know what that means, but whatever that means, if you're on whatever that's called Flow Sports and you're watching, check out from Cadet Memorial Field in New London, Connecticut, the Coast Guard Academy taking on the Smart Kids from MIT, and look for them to have the technical advantage over MIT. Lindsay, on to the other service academy that not a lot of people know about, the Merchant Marine Academy.
Well, 2 weeks ago, they beat the nerds from MIT with a whopping score of 6-3, so clearly there was a lot of defensive strategy in that game. Last week, they played SUNY Maritime, but lost their first game of the season, 34-14.
Well, what do we think this week?
This week, they're going to play Salve Regina.
You're from the area. You can't get this right?
I'm not going to say Regina. It sounds too much like a bad word.
Regina? It sounds like Gina. We're back down to one person watching, and it could be one of y'all.
It's probably one of us streaming it in another
That's all right.
browser tab.
It's not me. Where's Ted Danson at? Did we kick him out?
I'm bullish on them this year. I think that they're going to beat Salve Regina and go on to, with the exception of the Coast Guard Academy, which is their last game of the year, I think they're going to win the next three.
All righty. Jude, Air Force is hosting Wyoming at 2:30 p.m. on CBS Sports Network. Wyoming's 3-3. Air Force is 1-5. I feel like Air Force should have a much better record. They could score points on anybody. They absolutely, UNLV and Air Force had the game of games last week, in my opinion. If you liked offense, that was there. If you like defense, you need to change the channel and go watch something else, because that was definitely not in that game last week against UNLV. Jude, does Air Force bring down Wyoming and go to 1-4 in the Mountain West this week?
The problem with them being able to score on anyone is the flip side of that coin, where that 6-3 game that Lindsay talked about. Either one of those teams probably could have put up 30 points on Air Force. but I think Air Force is going to pick themselves up and get a dub. Get a dub this week and beat Wyoming and go to 2-5. Put Wyoming under 500.
All right, Hunter, Navy, off this week, I think. Am I correct on that? I believe they have a bye week.
Let me make sure. I thought
pretty certain they have a bye week. But let's recap the last game they played after I talk about Army taking on Tulane. Now, Army's at 3-3. They're traveling to New Orleans to Yeoman Stadium at 11 a.m. on ESPNU. So if you're up early on Saturday and you want to watch a game, Army at Tulane. Tulane's 5-1, the 2-0 in the American Conference. Tulane's a 9.5-point favorite, and Vegas says 45.5 points to play the game. I think Tulane covers this. Army keeps it interesting into the fourth quarter, but Tulane, led by Jake Retzlaff, is going to break away there late to cover the 9.5-point spread. Hunter, what do you got on the Naval Academy?
The Middies will get the week off, get ready to take on FAU, and then continuing on with not a very easy schedule because they'll go right down to Denton to play North Texas, and then after that, they play I don't know if it's a rivalry game, the yearly contest with Notre Dame. Then they play South Florida, then Memphis, then Army. I mean, that's a pretty tough end of their schedule here. So we'll see how Navy handles it. But if they get through this with only one loss, that could be a CFP team out of the G5 for sure. Which is why I haven't picked for. I really think that the only game that I would say guaranteed loss or even as a pick against them would be the Notre Dame game, and we'll have to get to that bridge when we get there here in a few weeks. But yeah, they got the week off. They won a just absolute barn burner and last second, from mid-court shot there to win the game against Temple. They beat Air Force in a high-scoring affair the week before. 2 weeks in a row, Navy has scored 30 points and let up 30 points, basically, give or take the margins. Been interesting that Navy's been an offensive-led team this year with Blake Horvath throwing down big numbers.
All right.
Eli Heidenreich.
We are going to move on from the salute to the service academies. Thank you to all who serve. We appreciate you, past and present. We're going to move on to head-to-head, and this is the big part of the show. Now, I'm going to introduce some new rules for head-to-head going forward. I'm going to pick the order in which we go, and then everybody's going to have 20 seconds to pick the game. So we gotta keep it. We're on the clock. So if you hear, all right, I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to buzz you. I'm just going to tell you that 20 seconds is up. Yeah. So here's our order of operation. We're going to start with Lindsay, then we're going to go to Hunter, and then Jude, and then me. So we're going to hit the ground running. We're going to talk about Wednesday night's game. Delaware traveling to Jacksonville State. No, this is Tuesday night's game. I'm incorrect on this one. Unfortunately, the Blue Hens did not fare too well versus the Gamecocks of Jacksonville State. They took what we call in the football world an ass whooping.
Some of us
Lindsay, did you look into your crystal ball and you were like,
it just felt right.
Just felt right.
Jacksonville, we knew it was going to be fairly close going in. So I look at that and say, it's kind of a toss-up. I'm going to choose Jacksonville State. Let's root for the underdog on this one. And sure enough, they pulled it out.
There you go. Hunter, what were your thoughts on this game heading in?
I thought Delaware would win. I was wrong.
Yeah, they scored 13 late points, but it was moot. It was like 38-12. It was terrible. Jude,
at least they tried.
Jude, right now you are undefeated in going into the weekend. What do you think?
Hey man, I feel pretty good. Also, I
so is Lindsay.
I'm not giving Lindsay that much credit. All right.
Oh my God! I even gave you my reasoning and everything. Wow. Okay.
Oh come on!
I honestly picked Jayville because the two of you guys picked Delaware, and I gotta make up some ground. So I gotta pick my battle.
All right, Jude. So what if I told you that Scott Steiner's son is a wide receiver on Jacksonville State?
Oh, you know what? I knew he played
Brock
somewhere.
Steiner.
I remember hearing about that. That's cool. Hey, and by the way, You said a royal ass whooping. Usually what you normally say in those kind of games is PTA, and I think that's hilarious because I was listening to my son talk to his friends the other day, and then he told his friends, he's like, oh, dude, he saw during practice, he saw when they teamed up, he's like, oh, we got you guys, man. It was PTA. I look at it, I say, where did you get that from? And my son thinks, oh, you're your Frank Cassis that are doing your streams all the time.
I enforced the youth so well. Yeah, no, I took Delaware. I thought they would do better. I was wrong. Brock Rechsteiner put belt to ass against Delaware. So we're just going to go with that. All right, on to our first game of the week. Starting with Lindsay, Louisville at Miami, number 2 Miami. What do you got?
You'd be silly to go against the Miami on this one. They've got they're the 13.5-point favorite going in. I think they're going to more than cover that spread, and I'll take the over, which is at 49.5.
All right, Hunter, what are we thinking here?
The U.
Enough said. All right, Jude, give me some reasons.
Like I said, I got to pick my battles, and that's not one. I don't want to fall more behind. So I got to take Miami, even though you guys know I hate Miami. But you got to pick your
battles. You're not taking Mighty Miller Moss? You're not taking Louisville and Mighty Miller Moss?
Man, I wish.
He's thrown for 1,358 yards, 7 touchdowns, and 4 interceptions this year. So there you go.
He's going to be in the league next year, man. I promise you guys.
Yeah, I mean he'll be holding that clipboard perfectly.
Yeah,
I'm sure the Orlando Apollos or whatever the new UFL team is definitely needs a quarterback.
It was unanimous. The entire pick. Number 2 Miami. All right, at 7 p.m. on Fox tomorrow night. This game, the Louisville-Miami game, happens at 6 p.m. on ESPN. At 7 p.m. on Fox, we have number 25 Nebraska traveling to the frozen tundra of Minnesota to take on the 4-2 Golden Gophers. Now, Vegas says Nebraska's a 7.5-point favorite with 47.5 points to play the game. Lindsay's saying he's going to roll with the Huskers, and he's going to tell you why.
Because although this will be a fairly close game, they've got slightly better defense. So I'm going to look for Nebraska to win this one. They're not going to cover, but I will take the over.
All right, Hunter, what do we got?
I'm a bigger fan of the letter N than the letter M. And since Nebraska has N's on their helmet instead of M's, just seemed like a good pick.
That makes sense.
Yep. All right, Jude, what are you thinking?
The boys with the N on their helmet, they want to play to make their coach not want to go to Penn State. So I'm going to go with them.
Well, it's a good thing this game's happening indoors because it looks like the weather's actually pretty nice there. It was unanimous, by the way. We're all taking Nebraska. We're going big red. That means Minnesota is going, huh?
This game's not indoors.
They're playing it outside?
That's where Minnesota University plays outside.
All right, I don't know anything. All right, look, I'm going to look right into the camera. I don't know anything. All right, I just sit here and pretend like I do. I'm an idiot. Is that what y'all want to hear?
Give the eye candy.
No.
Yeah, that's not true either. That's a lie. You know, Lindsay, you know how I shit on you a minute ago? You shit on me.
I was complimenting you.
All right, on to Saturday games. Y'all want a ranked matchup? How about I give y'all a ranked matchup?
Let's do it.
The problem is we have a ranked matchup, and we all went one way. So at 11 a.m. on ABC, the number 10 LSU Bayou Bengals take on the number 17 Commodores of Vanderbilt. What's a Commodore? Who knows? But what I'm going to tell you right now is Vegas has Vanderbilt as a 2.5-point favorite. And they're saying 48.5 points to play the game. Lindsay took the Commodores. I took the Commodores. Jude took the Commodores. Hunter took the Commodores. Lindsay, tell me why.
Because they have a slightly better defense, they're going to keep LSU at bay. And I think that they have a slightly more potent offense. They're going to cover that spread. Look for them to win by 10 points.
All right, Hunter.
So like LSU has too many letters on their helmet. No, I'm going to do the bit again. Diego Pavia is a good quarterback. I just don't really believe in LSU's offense. I think Vanderbilt's offense is much more explosive and can find answers against LSU's offense, kind of similar way to Ole Miss won.
Jude, what we got?
Because Jay Cutler went there.
Because Jay Cutler. It's unanimous. We all took
Jay Cutler.
So hopefully LSU does not beat Vanderbilt, or it'll be kind of an ish weekend for all of us. All right. We got our number 5 game of the week. That's Georgia Tech traveling to Wallace Wade Stadium in Durham, North Carolina, to take on the Duke Blue Devils. The Blue Devils are actually a 1.5-point favorite. Vegas is 60.5 points to play the game. Georgia Tech is undefeated. We all went Georgia Tech on this one. Lindsay's going to give you his reasoning starting now.
I do not understand what they were thinking in Vegas to give Duke the advantage going in. There's no way. I said it here. No way Duke's going to win this game. Georgia Tech's going to more than cover that spread. Look for them to win by 10, maybe 14 points. But I will take the under because I think both defenses are going to be good enough to keep the scoring down.
All right, Hunter.
I watched 2011 Texas play football with Manny Diaz as the DC, and to this day, he still can't coach against the option, and Georgia Tech runs the spread option.
All right, Jude.
Georgia Tech's just a good football team. They're coached well. They play hard, and they're not losing this weekend.
I just like the way the uniforms look. They got the right amount of gold with white on the uniforms. That's all I'm saying. Hey, what, you want me to lie? I don't know. I just said I don't know anything about football.
I miss when they had the honeycomb uniform. That was great.
All I know is one of the greatest wide receivers in football history with the Georgia Tech in an option
Play
offense.
No, they weren't option yet. It was Chan Gailey was the coach.
They were optioned by the time you left. On to our next game. This is not a ranked matchup. It's our number 6 game of the week. It's the Baylor Bears traveling up the highway to Amon G. Carter Stadium to take on the TCU Horned Frogs. Now, both teams are 4-2. One team is 2-1 in the Big 12. The other one is 1-2 in the Big 12. Baylor being the better of the two. They both have really good quarterbacks. One being Sawyer Robertson, and the other one being blank.
Josh Hoover.
Josh Hoover. Now, this is going to be a quarterback-heavy matchup. This could be a lot of points scored in this game. Neither one of these teams really have a great defense, in my opinion. TCU's favored by 2.5. 66.5 points is what the Vegas is calling for. So we're talking about a lot of points scored here in a close game. Lindsay, you went with TCU, and why?
I agree with your assessment. I don't think either team's defense is good enough to keep anyone scoring down. So this is going to be a shootout. Look for there to be a score in just about every possession. I'll take the over, and I think TCU is going to win by a touchdown.
All right. Hunter, you were the only person to take Baylor. Why did you take Baylor?
Because Josh Hoover's last name is Hoover, and Hoover makes vacuums, and vacuums suck.
Well,
Like they're supposed to.
I mean, it's perfect logic.
No, I picked Baylor because I believe TCU's offense has failed more often in like kind of games against light competition. Baylor's offense has been up to the challenge every game. Their defense has just been garbage, and I give more likelihood to Dave Aranda figuring it out on defense / going the Todd Orlando route and blitzing every play versus the TCU offense finding that next gear to beat Baylor.
All right, Jude. You and I agreed on this game. We both went TCU. Why'd you go TCU?
I think the 1-2 and 2-1 is just obviously competition. Baylor's beat a lot of beaters. TCU's lost to some tougher competition. But I think when they're evenly matched, against each other, I got to go TCU.
I went with TCU for one reason and one reason only, because I said I would never pick Baylor the rest of the season, because every time I pick them, they lose. I stopped picking them. They're 4-2. I'm not going to pick them this game. I went TCU. On to our number 7 game of the week. Number 14, Oklahoma, travels to Williams-Brice Stadium in Columbia, South Carolina, to take on the other Gamecocks, the South Carolina Gamecocks, who are 3-3 overall with a 1-3 SEC record. Oklahoma's led by quarterback John Mateer, who's still shaking off the deer in the headlights look from last week. OU's favored by 5.5 points. Vegas says 43.5 points. Lindsay took Oklahoma. Hunter took Oklahoma. Jude took Oklahoma. I'm the oddball here. I took South Carolina. Go Cox. Lindsay, why do we go this way?
Well, because I can't wait to hear your rationale for choosing South Carolina over the 14-ranked Oklahoma, which going in.
Because they got cock in their name. That's why. You got to have a little cock in your life.
That's as good a reason as any. But Oklahoma is a superior team. They're in every aspect of the game. They're better coached. They have a better game plan going in.
Whoa. Time out. You said better coached?
It's gonna give them the win. It's the edge they need. So they have a better game plan going in as a result.
All right, Hunter, tell me why Lindsay's wrong.
I mean, I picked Oklahoma because they're more talented, but better coached is a stretch. All right, you could probably poll every Oklahoma fan right now, and if you ask them, would you like Shane Beamer, that answer would be yes.
But here's the thing: I know nothing about the coaching at Oklahoma.
Fair enough. That's probably because it's bad. But the reason why I picked Oklahoma is because I think John Mateer will be a week healthier, and I just don't think that South Carolina has the players around Lenora Sellers and Nichols Harbor and Jakeem Stewart or whoever Dylan Stewart to go and beat Oklahoma the way Texas did. I don't think that they have that level of team talent. And they've kind of struggled against teams that have running quarterbacks, and Mateer certainly can be that guy. So I think Oklahoma pulls this one out. It's probably a close game. It just depends on the level of physicality if Oklahoma's able to match it or not. But I'll go with the Sooners.
Jude, why are we at the Sooners?
Talent-wise, strictly talent. And South Carolina is just another one of them schools that I always talk about that, the Miamis, the Oregons, have a lot of hype, never deliver at the end. Like, promise you, Oregon and Miami are for real. We found out Oregon this week. We'll see what happens later on. But my gut feeling is that South Carolina is way overrated. Hey, I'm gonna put you guys on mute. I gotta talk to some people for a few minutes. I'm gonna see if you guys are done when I get back. I'm sorry, but I'm gonna try to get back to this.
All right. Well, I got your picks, and I'll keep going. I'm taking South Carolina because, well, you got to have cock in your life. So there you go. God. We're going to head on at 1 p.m. to ESPN Plus. Kent State takes on the Rockets from Toledo, a 2-4 Kent State team who's 1-1 in the MAC versus a 3-3 Toledo team who's 1-2 in the MAC. Now, this game's being played at the Glass Bowl at Toledo, Ohio. Fantastic stadium, by the way. I've been there before. No, I haven't. That's a lie.
It's a fucking lie.
I've been
When's
to the
last time you were in fucking Ohio?
40 plus years ago. Something like that. Toledo's favored by 26.5 points. That's a sucker's bet. There's no way that some good old-fashioned Maction's going to have a 26.5 point spread in this game. Kent State's going to cover it, but Toledo's going to win the game. But Vegas is 52.5 points total. Lindsay took Toledo. I took Toledo. Hunter took Toledo. Jude took Toledo. Why did we take Toledo? Lindsay.
Kent State sucks.
Yeah, I was going to say, it'd be silly to bet on Kent State on this one.
Kent State is better than at least 2 teams on their schedule. One of them being in the MAC.
Okay, UMass is garbage.
Hey.
They are.
They're 0-6, all right? But they're in games.
They might as well be 0-60.
Well, they can only go 0-12 this year. So they can only lose 12 games. They're halfway to perfection.
Oh my God.
I'm talking about Kent State Toledo. Lindsay took Toledo. He doesn't know any other good reason why. Hunter. Hunter took Toledo.
Is a much better coach team, much more talented team. They'll have very good playmakers. They have a good run game. Sure, they had the game against Bowling Green, but Bowling Green's a little bit different situation. Kent State just doesn't have the playmakers, the talent, the coaching to go and win this game.
We got to get a Bowling Green game on here at some point. We got to bring up some Bowling Green, led by Eddie George. Wow.
Hey, they're
looking better and better every week. Well, I mean, that's like the formula for success, it seems like.
Oh, yeah. It's still Woody Hayes 101, except for the punching the player in the face.
Hey, he deserved it. He talked bad.
No, he went to go shake the coach's hand. He got punched in the face.
Hey, you know what? You shouldn't have beat him. That's what I'm saying. Sometimes you just got to take one for the team. Got to lose. Got to take an L. All right, on to our number 9 game of the week. The number 4 Texas A&M Aggies, 6-0 in SEC, or 6-0 overall, 3-0 in SEC, taking on them dirty pigs over there. Arkansas, the Razorbacks, who are 2-4 overall, 0-2 in the SEC, and it's only favored by 7.5. They're traveling to Vietnam to take on the Razorbacks at Razorback Stadium. Vegas says 16.5 points. That's a lot of points for A&M. Lindsay, you took them dirty Razorbacks. Jude took the dirty Razorbacks. Tell me why.
Yeah, I thought about that one a lot, and I think I'm going to do something that's almost unprecedented here. I'm going to change my pick.
You're going to change your pick? Hold on.
Oh, yeah.
I gotta strike the record here. Are we certain here?
Yep.
You're calling your shot.
I'm calling a shot. I'm picking A&M to cover that spread. And
to win the game.
And to win the game, take the under.
Take the under. Hunter, why'd you pick the Aggies?
I don't think that Arkansas's defensive playmakers are good enough to keep up with A&M's offensive weaponry. Mario Carver and Mario Craver and Casey Concepcion in particular will find themselves open quite consistently, I believe, and score a lot of points. A&M's offense kind of lends itself to a high-flying attack and a lot of quick throws, make things easy for Marcel Reed. Maybe Arkansas could be the match offensively and score a lot of points, but I do like A&M to kind of run away with this one.
Yeah, I've been picking against A&M for like 4 weeks in a row, and all they've done is to show to play good football and win football games. So I'm going to go with the Aggies to win this game. Arkansas, they have a coaching change. They have a lot of stuff turn around. They almost came back last week against Tennessee, which was kind of an odd game. They were kind of out, then they were kind of back in. I don't know. Anyways, going to Aggies there. We're all going to Aggies except for Jude. Jude's going with Arkansas. But he's just trying to win games right now. All right, on to our number 10 game of the week. So we're halfway there. The number 5 Ole Miss Rebels, 6-0 overall, 3-0 in SEC, travel to take on the number 9 Georgia Bulldogs from Sanford Stadium in Athens, Georgia. Georgia's 5-1, 3-1 in the SEC. UGA is favored by minus 7.5, 54.5 points to play the game. Ole Miss is led by their phenomenal quarterback, Tyson Chambliss. Is that right, Tyson? Trinidad Chambliss. We know Trinidad. How come I can't remember this? All right, Hunter. Lindsay's going to go first, and then you'll go second on this one. Why did you take Ole Miss here, Lindsay?
Because whenever you're looking at two talented teams and you're looking for what's going to wind up being the difference, it usually comes down to defense. I believe that will be the case in this game. So I'm going to go with Ole Miss because I think they have the edge there, and they're gonna win probably by 7 or 10 points, and I'll take the over because I think they're going to have some high scoring opportunities there.
All right, Hunter, why did you go with the Dogs?
Well, I kind of consider the game between two quarterbacks named after Caribbean islands. You know, the island of Trinidad and the island of Gunner. That's made that up. Anyway, now this is one of those games where I don't think that Ole Miss's offensive attack really lends itself to exploiting Georgia's weaknesses on the outside. I think Georgia's linebacking core is be able to handle the option forward attack that Ole Miss has displayed this season with Trinidad Chambliss at quarterback. And I like Georgia's ability to attack Ole Miss's weak run defense with their, classic good running backs, as long as Cash Jones is getting the rock, because that kid can't fucking find positive yards to save his life.
Straight cash, homie. Jude went with Ole Miss. One reason only. That'd be Lane Kiffin.
The Lane Train.
The Lane Train, as Jude would say. The Lane Train. Anyways, I went with the Bulldogs. It'll be a good head-to-head matchup. We'll see who prevails in this one. This game's going to happen at 2:30 p.m. on ABC, so check it out. Our number 11 game of the week happens at 2:30 p.m. also on the ACC network from Memorial Stadium in Clemson, South Carolina. Do they get to be Death Valley anymore? We don't know. They got to win some games in order to be Death Valley. But a 4-2 SMU is coming in 2-0 in ACC. Clemson's 3-3, and they're 2-2 in ACC. So they've played 2 more ACC games than SMU has. Clemson's a 5.5 point favorite. Vegas says 15.5 points to play the game. Now, SMU is led by Kevin Jennings, who has 1,650 pass yards, 15 touchdowns with only 6 interceptions. So he can put numbers on the board. Lindsay, why did you go with the Clemson Tiger?
Because if you have $33 to pay for a ticket, that is 5 times as much money as you need to go see Temple play Charlotte or Northern Illinois play Ohio. So it's going to be money well spent on a game that's going to be close. I don't think it's going to be really well played. I look for a lot of sloppy play, maybe a lot of penalties, but it'll be close because both teams are fairly evenly matched going in. So Clemson will take it probably because they're going to have the ball last and they'll have the last scoring opportunity.
All right, Hunter, you went with the Tigers also.
Yeah, I mean, this is one of those things where coming out of the bye week, things to get right for Clemson, things to focus on. I can't doubt Dabo Swinney's ability to get the team right, even in the midst of adversity. They're extremely talented. I have a lot of faith in them to at least climb out of the hole they've dug. Also, I think they're a better overall team than SMU.
I went with SMU for one reason only. They are fast. Whoa.
Well, their logo says it all.
Yeah, My Little Ponies. All right, on to our number. Before we go too much further, Jude also took Clemson, and that's mainly because I took SMU. Because I was the first to have my picks out this week, so everybody went against me because they fear the knowledge here.
That's what it is.
They fear the knowledge. Our number 12 game of the week features 2 tremendous teams at 2:30 p.m. on FS1 from Albertson Stadium in Boise, Idaho. Bluefield. They're not ranked yet, but they should be. The undefeated 6-0 UNLV Running Rebs, 2-0 in the Mountain West, take on the 4-2 Boise State Broncos, who are also 2-0 in the Mountain West. Now, Boise State's a 12.5 point favorite. Their Vegas says 62.5 points. Boise State's led by their Maverick Madsen, whatever his name is, Mark Madsen. But
Madsen.
Whatever. Who cares? His parents will be mad at me later. But UNLV is led by about 7 people who rushed the ball each for about 500 yards and about 12 touchdowns. And most of that came last week against Air Force. Lindsay, you have UNLV. I have UNLV. Hunter has UNLV. Even Jude has UNLV. We've all met. The minds have met. We've all decided that we're going with the
Boise State on a big win.
Yeah. Lindsay, why'd you go with the Running Rebs there?
Because Boise State field sucks so bad. I always root for whoever's on the road there. That's it. That's my rationale.
All right, Hunter.
Anthony Calandria. It really, to me, comes down to who do I believe in more as an offensive play caller and who's the main engine of offense for each team. And I just don't really believe in Maddox Madsen's ability to go toe to toe with Anthony Calandria, and I think that Dan Mullen has the ability to call the offense there for UNLV to score a lot of points and really put Boise State behind quickly. You saw what happened against USF. Boise State doesn't really have the ability to come from behind, certainly not without a good run game like they're used to. Maddox Madsen, he's a decent quarterback, but he's not good enough to go and change the game. I think Anthony Calandria's ability to hit deep shots, to run the ball, transforms what UNLV can do and gives him the edge in this one.
All right. Jude and I both went with UNLV, and I went with UNLV just because I'm a big Dan Mullins guy, and I think their offense is phenomenal. The only thing I hope is that after this week is over and they win this game against BYU, they are ranked at least number 25. I have a few things in college football that I want to see. I want to see undefeated teams that's halfway through the season be ranked. They absolutely deserve to be ranked. They should be ranked.
With a power
I'm looking up something right now. I got sidetracked before we hit our next game here, but I didn't find what I was looking for. I'm kind of disappointed. I had a oh, hold on. Yes, it is there. All right. This is exactly what I was going into here. All right. On to our number 13 game of the week. Lucky number 13. And you know what? Lindsay, you didn't pick this game either. Number 7, Texas Tech travels to
No, he did.
Mountain America Stadium in beautiful Tempe, Arizona. Texas Tech is undefeated at 6-0, 3-0 in the Big 12, led by Big 12 Offensive Player of the Week and former Crockett Cougar Cam Dickey. What? Say it ain't so. Big 12 Offensive Player of the Week, Cameron Dickey. Boom. There you go. Texas Tech, Austin's own Cam Dickey. There you go. You want to hear something even cooler? Can I tell the story, Hunter, real quick?
Sure. I don't know.
My wife made some illegal merchandise for Cam Dickey's mom this week. Yep.
It's unlicensed
merchandise. Unlicensed.
Illegal is a little stretch. Unlicensed.
Unlicensed merchandise for Cam.
Come on,
Dickey's
it's Texas Tech. I don't want to hear anyone from Texas Tech complain about licensing or the law or not drinking and driving. You ever been to Lubbock? At least half those people on a midday drive in Lubbock are drinking and driving. At night, it's probably closer to 80%. Anyway.
Oh, but there you go. We can
what are they
brag
going to do?
on a little bit.
Felons
Austin's
can't
own.
fly out to get mad at me, so it doesn't matter.
All right. Lindsay, Texas Tech, why did you take them?
They're going to walk away with this when they're better in every aspect of the game. I can't believe that the line is only 7.5 in their favor. I'm looking for them to win by 14 points at least. Take the over.
All right, Hunter, why are you going with the Red Raiders?
Because Texas Tech is proof that you too can buy yourself a Big 12 championship if you had $1 billion.
Whatever it takes.
Jude even went with – no, Jude didn't go with Texas Tech. He did go with Texas Tech. Joey Prestiato, if you're out there, your boy Jude let you down. He took the Red Raiders as well, but probably because if their quarterback's not playing Arizona State, they have no chance. Texas Tech actually improved whenever their backup quarterback came in.
Actually, I do have one more bit of analysis. If you know anything about Texas high school football, you'll know that Cam Dickey leading fucking Crockett to 8 wins might as well be someone fucking jumping to the moon. I mean, that's what it might as well be, is jumping to the moon.
Crockett is not a very good sports
Dog
program.
shit. They are dog shit.
I was being polite. You're being rude now.
My little sister has gone to school there for 1.5 years. They have yet to win.
Well, Cam Dickey, he went to Texas Tech, and they're undefeated since he got there, or since he's been playing this season. All right. Anyways, we all went Texas Tech in this game, so look for Texas Tech to have a big win, and look for Cam Dickey to continue his successful ways on the field. All right, Lindsay, we're hustling through this as fast as we can. Our number 14 game of the week is Washington State versus Virginia. This game's going to happen at 5:30 p.m. on the CW Network. Now, before anybody laughs at the CW Network, you need to check this out. The CW Network actually has phenomenal coverage of college football. It's a very, very good deal. Next year, you'll see even more of it whenever the more teams join the Pac-12, and CW is going to carry all their games. Look forward to it. Before we go there, Washington State 3-3, Virginia 5-1. UVA is favored by 17.5 points, 55.5 points to play the game. UVA is also led by Texas high school quarterback Chandler Morris. He's thrown for 1,428 yards this season, 11 touchdowns, 4 picks. Lindsay, you went with Washington State.
Seems that
Hunter and I went with Virginia.
Well,
Are you changing your pick right now?
I'd like to, but I won't. I'm going to stick with this one because UT is proof positive that an unranked team can beat a top 10 team handily, and I believe that Washington.
I wouldn't put too much analysis into that one.
All right,
This
Hunter,
isn't
let him get
fucking
his
Red
chance.
River.
All right, Hunter, let him get his chance.
Washington
it?
will be the big surprise this week, where they will eke out a win against Virginia. Look for them to win using a late field goal as to their advantage. I will take the under, which is at 55.5.
All right, Hunter, what do we got?
I'm sorry, Lindsay. I didn't mean to run all over you.
Go right ahead.
Red River is always like either team could suck ass, and you just get a different kind of game in there. Anyway, analysis on this one is that Virginia looks really good. Got a great offense. Washington State, I don't know. I think they kind of like blew their emotional load there against Ole Miss. I don't know if they have much left in the tank, Plus, the CW is going to be the Bobcat Network by the end of next season. You know what I'm saying? Anyway,
Jude went with Washington State, but I believe this is on a Pac-10, Pac-12 Homer fandom here that Jude has for all these former Pac-12 schools. So I think that's why I went with Washington State. I went with Virginia because I'm a Tony Elliott truther. Because when I had the guy down and out, all he did is he clawed, came back, he won. He's got this team ranked. They're going to win this week. Somehow, some way. I don't know they cover 17.5 points. That's a lot for them. They're going to win this game, though.
Well,
Virginia.
they'll score those points. They just won't stop Washington from scoring also.
I didn't mention that part. All right, Lindsay, we're going to our number 15 game of the week, and that's the Terrapins from Maryland. They're traveling to Los Angeles, California, US of A. Maybe US of A. I don't know. Do we still claim California? Yes or no? I don't know. We're kind of there.
Maybe.
All right. This game happens at 6 p.m. on FS1. That's Fox Sports 1. The game's being played at maybe one of the coolest stadiums in all of college football, the Rose Bowl in beautiful Pasadena, California. I've never seen an ugly picture of Pasadena. So Maryland's 4-2, 1-2 in the Big Ten. UCLA's 2-4, but they're 2-1 in the Big Ten. So this is a Big Ten matchup. UCLA's been on the upswing since firing most of their coaching staff and relying on the guys that were probably doing the actual work. Everybody took Maryland except for you know who. Lindsay, what's your reasoning here?
Well, because UCLA, you're right, they're on an upward trajectory right now, but they're going to get gassed by halftime. I look for Maryland to start walking away with this game late in the second half. They're not going to win by much, but they will pull it up by a field goal, maybe a touchdown, and I will take the under. The over, which is a 51.5.
All right, Hunter.
Yeah, I think Maryland's offensive attack is overall better, and I don't know. Call it a hunch. I just like Maryland in this game. I think UCLA is kind of like ridden on some highs. Like everyone's kind of like ready to crown them back as this like great team. I think Maryland's also very good, very talented, and I think Malik Washington's a better quarterback than Nico. The floor is lava. And I think their defense will be able to hold down the UCLA offense enough, even though it's been reborn under Jerry Neuheisel. Yeah, I like Maryland this one.
Well, I'll just say this one thing for Jude. Jude would say, F UCLA. Enough said. I went with UCLA because, well, you can't win if you don't take chances, right? UCLA's on the upswing. Maryland's about to hit their midseason slide. I'm just playing the averages here.
I am depending on late season Loxley.
Late season Loxley. And this brings me to my next point. Gosh, this bugs the balls off me right now. Our number 16 game of the week features the 5-2 Hawaii Rainbows, 2-1 in the Mountain West, versus the 2-4 Colorado State
Rams,
1-1 in the Mountain West. This game happens at Canvas Stadium in Fort Collins, Colorado. Colorado State's favored by 2.5 points. That upset me at all. Vegas is 54.5 points to play the game. That doesn't upset me at all. Hawaii's quarterback has thrown for 1,456 yards, 9 touchdowns, with 5 interceptions. That doesn't bother me at all. What bothers me? What does bother me about this game? Can either one of y'all guess? Can anybody in the comments guess what bothers me about this game? Why can we not get Hawaii games on TV? Why are they never on television? This bugs the shit out of me. We have Toledo and Kent State on TV. We can't get fucking Hawaii on television? Why not? Do we have something against the state of Hawaii?
Broadcast.
Is it because
they're just not on a national broadcast? They're going to be on the Mountain West Network.
That doesn't exist. It's not a thing.
It's an app. It's an app.
It's an app. Download an app. Does it cost money?
Probably. I'm not going to fucking download it. I'm going to pirate the game on YouTube.
You have an advantage over the rest of us. You get local television.
I'm not watching that shit on local TV. Local TV costs money.
All right, Lindsay. You went with Colorado State. Why'd you go with Colorado State?
home field advantage on this one is going to work in their favor. That's really the only edge I'm going to give them on that. So I think it's enough to get them through what they're going to be up against in Hawaii, which will give them a run for their money, but they're going to squeeze us out in the game. They're going to win they'll cover that spread. So they're going to win by a touchdown.
All right. Hunter, you took the Bows. Why?
Because the last time I got burned by not taking the Bows. So I'm going to take the Bows. Team's got a lot of belief. They're very close to getting a bowl game guaranteed this early in the season for them. I have to go with them. Also, I like their offensive attack versus Colorado State's defense. A little run and shoot versus air raid actions always goes a long way to a good offensive football game. So I'll take the Bows.
I'll say this. They both have tremendous offensive coordinators as head coaches. Both of them are great. Timmy Chang versus Jay Norvell should be an exciting game. I'm going with the Bows. I'm going to go there. I'm going to say next week, the bowl-bound Hawaii Rainbows.
Wow.
Go Bows. That's what I'm saying.
Rainbow Warriors.
Hey, you
Wayne,
heard it here.
hey, we're going to go with the Rainbows Warriors.
All right.
We're going to go with the Rainbow Warriors in this game.
The Bulls bound
taking
Rainbows
Hawaii.
Warriors of Hawaii's.
I took Hawaii last week. What did they do? They won.
What time is this fucking game? Damn it, I can't make
6
it.
p.m. 6 p.m. All right, our number 17 game of the week is a dual-ranked matchup here. The number 11 Tennessee Volunteers, 5-1 record, 2-1 in the SEC, travel to Bryant-Denny Stadium in Tuscaloosa, Alabama at Nick Saban Field to take on the number 6 Alabama Crimson Tide, who are 5-1 overall with a 3-0 record in the SEC. Alabama's favored by 8.5 points. Vegas is 59.5 points to play the game. Lindsey Coyle says, go Volunteers.
I say not so fast, Alabama. You're not going to win this game because Tennessee's got a few surprises up their sleeve. They're going to have a more potent offensive. What you're going to be bringing to the game, Alabama, look for them to win by 10 points and take the over.
Hunter, you went with the Crimson Tide. Why are we taking the Tide?
Because I think that Joey Aguilar is far too turnover worthy. Those way too many high interception possible plays. I think Alabama will exploit those. Ty Simpson is much more measured quarterback, and Alabama's kind of hit that stride where the talent and the coaching comes together. They took a random ass whooping, and for some reason they've gotten better from it. So I like Alabama this one. Probably a lot of points scored. Also, I don't think Tennessee's won at Bryant-Denny Stadium in like 20 years, so I don't think that's going to start now either.
Jude took the number 11 Tennessee Volunteers to win this game. I'm guessing because Joey Aguilar used to play in the state of California last year.
He played at App State last year. He transferred to UCLA for like 2 weeks.
Oh, there you go. I don't know why I took him, but I was just throwing a guess out there. Like I said, I don't know anything. I went with the Crimson Tide because I don't want to lose this game. On to our number 18 game of the week. Man, I bet Jude's wishing he was here right now because, well, you know, I'm going to talk a lot of shit here. Got to put my hat on. There we go. Get the hat in place. All right.
Careful.
At 6:30 p.m. What's that?
So careful. That's an antique.
I'm being careful of keeping it clean. At 6:30 p.m. on NBC, the number 20 University of South Carolina, University of Southern California Trojans travel to take on the number 13 Notre Dame Fighting Irish champions. Check it out. Vegas says Notre Dame's favored by 9.5. Vegas also says 60.5 points to play the game. Lindsay took USC. We're on USC. What's that?
What game are we talking about?
The
USC.
University of Southern California at Notre Dame.
The
number.
Battle of the Golden
I skipped ahead to
Shillelagh.
BYU, Utah. Okay, hold on.
What's that?
I skipped ahead to BYU and Utah. Okay.
Well, because you missed a pick.
Yeah, I missed one. I was just reading off my list. Okay. Yes.
That's why I had to harass you earlier.
USC, I am channeling Jude on this one. I just have a feeling that he's going to be good for them this week. And even though they're going in as the underdog, they're going to pull this one out. It'll be like a one of these awesome last-minute wins by USC. It'll be a good close game, one worth watching.
All right. Hunter, why are you taking Notre Dame here?
Notre Dame's defense is getting better every week. Chris Ash has seen the Lincoln Riley air raid many times, at least once. But I do think that they'll be able to handle that attack. I think they'll get after Mayava. And really what I think is that I don't think USC's defense is really capable of keeping up with Notre Dame's offense. Notre Dame is extremely good at every phase of offense, every style. Their quarterback has full command. Jeremiah Love is very hard to handle out of the backfield. I don't think USC has the horses to handle that long term. I think if it comes down to having to score to win, I think Notre Dame is more likely to do that than USC.
All right. I went with Notre Dame. I'm always going to go to Notre Dame. Jude's going to go with USC. He's always going to go with USC. He's going to say V's for victory. We are SC. Fight on. I'm going to say Notre Dame wins this game. Take the over. Take Notre Dame to cover.
Play like champions today.
And take the prop bet that the length of the grass is going to be tall.
Oh, it's going to be some tall fucking grass.
Yeah, it's going to be tall. I'm just telling you right now. I know for a fact it's going to be tall. Go with the tall grass prop bet. Notre Dame wins this game. We're split on this one, so this will be an interesting split between the two factions, NWO and NWO Wolfpack here.
Oh my god.
Hunter hates it when I bring up the wrestling references
No,
here.
I just hate bringing up the NWO Wolfpack because it's the dumbest thing in fucking wrestling. Does
Hey, I
anyone
didn't say
wonder
we
why
were
WCW
NWO
went down?
Wolfpack.
No one should question why WCW fell apart. It should be fucking incredibly obvious.
I didn't say we were the Wolfpack. I said the Wolfpack. All right. We're to our last game. Lindsay's got to go. We're over time. 7 p.m. Fox. Lavelle Edwards Stadium, Provo, Utah. The number 23 Utah Utes. 5-1 overall. 2-1 in the Big 12. Take on the number 15 undefeated BYU Cougars.
There we go.
I was blanking there. You know, when I ad-lib all this stuff, it just sometimes the brain works, sometimes the brain doesn't. Lindsay took BYU. Lindsay, why?
Well, I'd rather hear why I shouldn't have took BYU. I just think they're a superior team in every facet going in, and their record proves that. I think how well they've played this year is every indication that they'll continue to win. In Utah, I don't believe they have nearly the defense that they're going to need to keep BYU at bay. So look for BYU to win by 10 points.
All right, Hunter. The Holy War. What do you got?
I'm going to have to throw up some holy prayers because the more I look at this game, the more dumb I think I am. I picked fucking Utah.
You can
and
change
here
your
I am.
pick. You can change your pick.
No. I'm not going to change my pick. I'm not going to use one of my pick changes here. I'm going to wait. I have later in the season off some more. But this game's at night. I talked up how great Lavelle Edwards the other day on the phone was. I'm a huge Lavelle Edwards fan, always have been. But Utah's going to have their defense has gotten better every week. Devin Dampier has good command of the offense. I think BYU's played a little too fast and loose with the different teams they've played. They let Colorado stay way too close all week 2 weeks ago. I think Utah has the offensive capability to exploit close games. And this is Kyle Whittingham's legacy game. This is probably his last season. He's going to beat the old stomping grounds one last time there for the Utes.
All right. Jude went with BYU. I went with Utah. I think the difference in quarterbacks is going to make the difference in the game. BYU's led by Bear Bachmeier. He's a true freshman who wears number 47. No hating.
Awesome.
No hating there. No hating. Love it. Love it. He's probably going to be a great quarterback, but I'm going to go with consistency and a guy that's got a little more command of the offense, a guy that's got another year of college football underneath him, and that's Devin Dampier. I'm going to go with Utah to take the big dub down there. Utah's going to cover. Utah's going to take the over. Utah's going to score a bunch of points this game. BYU's going to score some points. They're just not going to be able to keep with Utah. BYU's record goes to 6-1. Utah's record goes to 6-1. And that's going to wrap the show, folks. We're going to head into this weekend. We got 19 picks made. You're going to see if we're going to turn out to be 19-0. Some of us will be 18-1. Some of us will probably be, I would say 9-10 from the looks of it. Lindsay, let's break it down here. What are we doing? Let's break it down. Let's break the game. Let's break the huddle here.
All right. Thank you for watching. Brian Stewart, always good to see you. JWC Tech, thanks for tuning in. Christian, glad that you made it tonight, buddy. Good to see you as well. Hope everything's going well for you. Thank you so much, folks. We will see you all next week.
All right, Hunter. You disappeared. Looks like
Yeah. Eat 'em up,
King
cats.
Gillis is it. Eat 'em up, cats. All right, folks. Remember, the team that scores the most points always wins the game. Thanks for watching.